Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
If you follow basketball, you know Chilton Hoops.
So this is really good right here. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, y'all know what time it is when you see me. It is Monday night. We talk pro basketball around here. I am back in effect. The playoff race is heating up. We probably got a month or so left in the regular season. Today is the 24th. Around this time, a month from now, we will be in the playoffs. Right? Around this time, about a month or so, what I believe, around this time, about a month or so, we will be in the playoffs. So we got a bunch of teams jockeying for position, which I love. I think this is great. We got some playoff potential matchups. We got some teams that, contrary to popular belief, are ducking smoke. 100% they are. Yes, they are ducking smoke, which they should. There's nothing wrong with that. I've said this to you guys countless times, that there's teams that won't say it, but in the end, they 100% duck smoke. Right? They 100% duck smoke. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I'm looking at, I looked at the standings earlier today, and is it beneficial for the Golden State Warriors to get out of that 6th spot and see Minnesota as opposed to seeing Denver? Is that a better matchup for Minnesota? I mean, is that a better matchup for the Golden State Warriors to have to see Minnesota instead of having to see Golden State? Yes, 100% it is, because the games that Minnesota has played against Golden State, they've been close, and in the end, Curry has closed those games. So that tells me, what that tells me is, in that series specifically, this is going to be my best player against your best player. Because I don't think that you can slow down. I'm on record saying this. I don't think that you can slow down great play. I don't think you can stop great players. I think you can slow them down. Right? I do. I think you can slow them down, but I don't think you can stop great players. So with that being said, more times than not, when you're dealing with my best player and your best player, more times than not, their productions cancel each other out. Right? Their productions cancel each other out. And that's not true, Ray. Get your story straight. Y'all right now are in the 7th spot. They're in the 3 spot. I mean, they're in the 6th spot. Let me make sure I'm getting this correct. Let me make sure I'm getting this correct. You guys are currently in the 7th spot. I meant to say Houston. I didn't say Golden State. I apologize. I meant to say Golden State. I meant to say Houston. I don't mean Golden State. I meant to say Houston. Would you rather see Houston than Denver? And who would I rather? If I'm Golden State, do I want to run up on those kids or do I want to run up on Joker? 100% I want to see Joker. I mean, 100% I want to see Houston. 100% I don't want to see Joker. If I had to choose between these two, I got to see Joker in round 1, with Jamal Murray playing the way Jamal Murray has been playing, Russ being the rotation player and coming off the bench, how he's been coming off the bench, and as good as he's been, or do I want to see those kids? I like my if it's me, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and the rest of the crew, I like my chances against those kids. I do. I like my chances against those kids because my attitude is we could probably get them. We could get them now, right? We could get them now because in the future they're going to be awesome. So with that being said, right? So with that being said, I'm trying to stay away from Denver. So if Golden State is in that 6th spot, I think they're a game ahead of Minnesota as of today. Yeah, I think as of today, they're a game ahead of Golden State. They're a game ahead of of Minnesota. I just want to make sure that I don't give you any bad information, right? I want to make sure I don't give you any bad information. They're a half game ahead of Minnesota, which means that if they drop to that 7 spot, they would have to see Houston. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I got to switch this Wi-Fi really quickly. If I got to see, I'd much rather see Houston than have to see Minnesota. I would much rather do that. And that's not to say that Houston is a slouch. It's just that running up on those kids, right? Running up on those kids as a veteran team, and this is a team that's building. Who am I? If I've seen these teams that have come, not necessarily come out of nowhere, but these teams that are building. So in 22 or 23, Memphis ended up with the 2 seed. They ran up on them vets with the Lakers, bounced in round 1. They didn't lose, bounced in round 1. Got them right up out of there. Sacramento, they end up with the 2 or the 3 seed. They run up, they end up with the 2 seed. They run up on that Golden State Warrior team, bounced in round 1. See you later. Goodbye. So with that being said, right? With that being said, if I'm in this playoff race and I'm trying to get the best matchups possible, right? If I'm trying to get the best matchup possible, who would I rather see in round 1? I'm the 6th seed. I'm the current 6th seed. Do I want to see the Golden State? If I'm the Golden State Warriors, do I want to see Denver at the 3 spot, or do I want to drop down a half spot? If I want to drop down 1 spot, and do I want to get the Houston Rockets in round 1? I'd much rather get Houston in round 1. So I don't think that there's any matchups that are blowing me away, but I can tell you right now that Oklahoma City Clippers matchup, I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder handle them in 5 games. I do. I think that they would handle them in 5 games. To see, right? To see if a Golden State, to see a Oklahoma City team with no Chet, which is my best rim protector, my best interior defender, to see him off the floor, to see J-Dub, which is arguably my best perimeter defender and arguably my most versatile defender, him off the floor, and for SGA to shoot the basketball as badly as he did. And by the way, let's not make this look like let's not make this look like SGA just had a bad night. No, he didn't. No, he did not. The Clippers did a damn good job on him defensively. It's one of the few times, and I'm going to get back to these standings in a second. It's probably the only time I've seen this season where a team was able to speed him up. I have yet to see a team, with the exception of last night, I have yet to see a team speed SGA up. Right? I have not seen a team speed up SGA and make him play faster than he wants to play, shoot shots that he doesn't want to shoot. And he was doing everything that he could to get himself in a rhythm, and it just wasn't working. I thought Chris Dunn did a great job on him last night. I thought he did a great job pushing him further away from the basket. And when he was trying to get downhill, he was right on his hip, almost more in front of him, where he was trying to get shots off without fouling. and Chris Dunn was right in his face. I was loving every bit of that. Every bit of that. Just so you guys know, I'm watching that game last night, and in probably I'm not going to say probably, it was the 7-minute mark. SGA ended up making a fall away about 16-footer. Ben Simmons had tripped over one of his defenders, and he ended up making a 17-footer. It was about 7 minutes left in the fourth. He didn't score again for the rest of the night. That was it. No more buckets for him. No more. The Clippers shut the door on him. Their rotations were crisper, right? Their rotations were much more crisp. They kept the ball away from him as much as they possibly could. They pushed him further away from the basket. Now, I can say the same thing about Oklahoma City, too, because I thought Oklahoma City did a damn good job on James Harden. I can't remember. Probably the Bulls. I'm thinking about defensive teams where everybody was on this page. And I'm thinking about great defensive teams. Everybody was on this page. And when I'm watching Oklahoma City last night, when I tell you that they looked like a Chinese army where they were all in one, like everybody's foot moved at the same time. The rifle, when the rifle moved from this shoulder to that shoulder, everybody rifle moved at the same time. They were all on the same page last night. Every last one of those guys. And the thing that I appreciated about them the most with their rotations was their communication. I could see Lou Dort balking at Caruso, who was balking at SGA, who was balking at Aaron Wiggins, who was balking at Hartenstein. Up! Screen's coming. Shoot the gap. I got your back. Get through it. You threw it. That's what was going on last night when I was watching these guys on defense. Go under. Good. I'm here. I got you. Switch. Foot to foot. We good. That's what was going on last night defensively with that Oklahoma City team. And to slow that Clipper team down with Leonard having it going, how he had it going, and to slow down James Harden, that was impressive. That's why I feel like if these dudes see each other in the playoffs, it's gonna take a behemoth effort from James Harden in order for them to have a shot to win. And I can't see him frying them. And that's what he's gonna have to do against that Oklahoma City team in order for them to win. For them to have a chance to win, he's gonna have to fry them. And I can't see him doing that. I can't. So I don't think that anybody is ducking Oklahoma City off the strength that I'm going to have to see them anyway. So, like, Oklahoma City isn't one of those teams where they're in the 3, 4, 5 range where you're like, damn, like, what can we do to avoid these dudes? No, that's not the way that works. You're going to have to see them anyway. You are going to have to see them. So what better time to see them than right now? We could at least see where we are right now. So I think Oklahoma City handles the Clippers in 5 games. I'd be surprised if it went past 5 games. If they had to play the Clippers, I'd be surprised. I think they run the Clippers right out the building. Just off the strength of their defense alone. Just off the strength of their defense alone. Now, when we get into the later rounds of the playoffs, I think that's something different, right? I think that that's something a little bit different, but I feel like early on, this is what great teams do. They handle the lesser teams, and I feel like the Clippers would be a good test, but I think that they handle them. Because Chet plays, I think J-Dub plays. He's going to be the difference now. J-Dub is going to be the difference in what they do. Because I think with him, I feel like with him, I already know what I'm getting from SGA as a bucket getter. I already know what I'm getting from this group terms of Lou Dort, in terms of Caruso, in terms of Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Casey Wallace, the way these guys communicate, the way these guys shoot gaps, the way that these guys talk to each other. I already know what I'm getting from these guys defensively. I feel like from an offensive standpoint, that 21 a game that I'm getting from J-Dub, that's got to be more. I don't think it's got to be 28 or 29. I don't think it's got to be 26 or 27, but it can't just be 20, 21. Nah. I need more from you in that aspect. And on top of that, that defense that he plays, that he's part of that unit, I think that they get more of that. They need more of that from him. 100% they need more of that from him. So I do think that they handle the Clippers. I do. I think that they handled the Clippers in round one. And I like I said, I just said this, and I can't say it enough, where, teams duck smoke all the time, guys. They do. And if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I don't want to make it apparent, right? What I don't want to do is I don't want to make it apparent like I'm trying to do this, but I am trying to do this. And if I'm the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr, I'm sure he's looking at the standings going, would I rather see Joker in round one, or would I rather see Houston in round one? Because I love Draymond in that series. As the quarterback, as the facilitator, as a defender, I love him in that series. I don't like him in that series. I love him in that series. As a defender, as a one-on-one defender, because I've said this to you in the past. I mean, I really dig, right? I really dig when guys enter conversations that nobody thought that they should be in, and they enter them off the strength of what they've been doing. Like, I don't think this is a narrative with Draymond Green. The season started earlier. The season started early this season. They jumped out the gate. They were 12-3. They had a top 3 defense. Draymond has been consistently a damn good defender all season long. He's got one of the best plus minuses on defense that anybody has, and they're right back in the middle of it in terms of a defense. Golden State is, and he's the anchor of that. He is the anchor of that. And Draymond, his claim to fame as a defender is his versatility. That's the thing that makes him different than other guys, right? That I feel like that makes him a lot different than other guys. Sneed, let's cut the bullshit about he wasn't a defensive candidate until about this week. He was in the conversation for being one of the better defenders in the league this year. That's number one. Number two, this was just a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, before James went down with his injury. We were talking about LeBron James being first team All-Pro. That wasn't a conversation 2 months ago when he was 17-7. And we were talking about he was washed. Just like the coach of the year. This was literally less than a month ago that JJ Redick was in a conversation for coach of the year. That was going on, Sneed. Stop acting like that these dudes got to be in this all year long. No, they don't. No, they do not. Guys emerge. Guys fall off. Now, whatever problem you got with Draymond, that's a you thing. That's a you problem. But Draymond has been one of the better defenders all year long. And the fact that they got Jimmy Butler, they've gotten better defensively. Just like as good as I think Evan Mobley is as a defender, having Jared Allen there helps him a lot. Having Jared Allen there helps him a lot. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to discredit Draymond that now he's in, because he's put himself in the defensive player of the year conversation. Dudes do this all the time. I watched Chris Bosh campaign to be an all-star. So what? These guys do this all the time. There is no specific timeline where guys can't do this. And it's not like this is Draymond Green saying this and it's not valid. Draymond has actually been really good this year defensively. He's been damn good defensively. The problem with Golden State was they didn't have a secondary scorer. That's why they were as bad as they were. I thought the Golden State was going to suck this year. And it was actually happening. If you remember, it was actually happening. They bring in Jimmy Butler, right? They bring in Jimmy Butler. Now you get a secondary defender who plays defense. I mean, you get a secondary scorer who plays defense, and now your defense gets back to where it was. That helps. 100% that helps. And guys get put in conversations that they should be in that we normally wouldn't put them in because of somebody else. But that doesn't mean that they don't belong in that conversation. And Draymond belongs in that conversation this season. Yes, he does. 100% he does. Now, he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think so. And with him not winning Defensive Player of the Year, that doesn't lessen that doesn't lessen what's going on. I don't think that lessens what's going on with him. So if I'm the Golden State Warriors, who do I like my chances against? Do I like my chances against the young Houston team where I feel like Draymond can be more of a force defensively? He can be more of a quarterback. He can be more of a quarterback. Steph Curry. I think Houston has beaten Golden State one time in like the last 5 years. They own them. Yeah, Golden State owns them. Draymond could be more of a quarterback. Draymond could be more versatile because they don't really have anybody over there that's dominant like that. Like I think he can handle Sengun. I don't think Sengun is whack because I think Sengun is one of the best playmaking bigs in the league. Right? I think Sengun is one of the best passers, downhill guys that the league has. His touch around the rim has gotten better as time has gone on. There was a stretch during the season where he was missing layups, and I was trying to figure out why. I couldn't get to the bottom of that. So what up, Dubs? I couldn't get to the bottom of that. But I think Draymond can handle him. So with him handling him, right? With him handling him, in addition to him handling Sengun and being the quarterback of that defense, that means that guys like Jalen Green are going to have a phenomenal season. And on top of that, you're banking on Houston's defense, which is damn good. You're banking on Houston's defense shutting the Golden State Warriors offense down. Now, before Buckets got on the crew and you didn't have that secondary defender, I could get with that. I could get with that. But with Buckets on the crew and him and Jimmy Butler, that dynamic, oh, I love that. I 100% love that. And the reason why I love that is because I feel like more than anything, right, I feel like Jimmy Butler would mix it up with Dillon Brooks, and Dillon Brooks could possibly play himself out the series. I feel like he could possibly play himself out that series. Because he'll try to poke he'll try to poke the bear in Jimmy Butler. And I think Buckets is not one of those guys to play with. I don't think he is. Nope. I do not think that he is. So if I'm Golden State, I'd much rather see Houston than Denver because I think we can beat them. 100% I think we can beat them. And then if you are Denver, do you want to see Minnesota? Because Minnesota, they actually want to see y'all. That's who Minnesota is looking for. They're looking for you. As good as Joker is, as good as Jamal Murray is, they want to see you guys. They looking for y'all like we can beat them. Even though your best offensive player, which was Cat last year, I think Cat was their best offensive player. But with Cat being gone, it's still a mismatch. It's still a matchup nightmare for Denver. Still. Because I don't know what it is about Jamal Murray, but Anthony Edwards slows him down. Anthony Edwards plays defense with the best of them when it comes to Jamal Murray. Even though I think that two-man game between Jamal Murray and Joker is arguably the best in the game. I'm thinking about other two-man games in the league. I don't know if there's a better two. The other two-man game that I was thinking about was Anthony Davis and James. That was probably the best two-man game between those two guys, and Jamal Murray and Joker. Those two, in my estimation, were the two best two-man tandem in the game. And if I had to choose between the two of them, I would have to say that it was Joker and Jamal Murray. Not because James ain't a better player than Jamal Murray, but because I feel like the dynamic between those two guys, it just works much better. Because Joker isn't a pick and dive big more than he's a DHO big, a rescreen big, who consistently keeps defenses on their heels with Jamal Murray. Where Jamal Murray will come off the screen, he'll pick and pop, but then he'll rescreen because he'll go back and get the ball and rescreen. And now Jamal Murray's getting downhill. And there's nothing that you can do about that. And he's one of the best tough shot makers in the game. He is one of the best tough shot makers in the game. And I think that kind of dynamic, I think that kind of dynamic is brutal for other teams. However, Edwards is one of the best screen navigators in the game when it comes to Jamal Murray. And he's one of the better recovery defenders in the game when it comes to Jamal Murray. He gets around screens. When he plays drop, he recovers better. When he's playing against Jamal Murray, he's more physical with Jamal Murray. He keeps the ball away from Jamal Murray. The Rudy Joker dynamic, I don't like it. No, I don't. I don't like it at all. Not even a little bit do I like it. But I feel like as a collection with Minnesota, I feel like this group, I feel like this group, they kind of figured Denver out. I feel like they kind of, and they know where I feel like they know where their bread is buttered. They know where Denver's bread is buttered, and that's with Joker. And if they can slow down the rest of them dudes, I think they're in business. So now that leaves the 4 or 5 seed, right? I feel like that the 4 or 5 seed, that's the Lakers and Memphis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they smoked Memphis. I don't think they beat Memphis. I think they smoked them dudes. Smoked them. Straight up and straight down. I got a super chat from Ridge Maddock. He said, chill, playoff Jimmy operating off step is terrifying. That's what, and I don't think that there's a team early in the playoffs, whether it's Houston or Denver, that really want that. But on the flip side to that, I don't think that Golden State wants that. Which smoke would we rather? Because we're going to have to deal with smoke. We're going to have to deal with smoke either from Minnesota. We're going to have to deal with smoke from either Houston or Denver. So which smoke would we rather deal with? This isn't one of those, I don't care which one it is. Stop the nonsense. Stop it. Right? Stop the nonsense. Which smoke would you rather deal with? I'm not saying that if you had Denver that you would cower, but which smoke would you rather deal with between the two? And the smoke that I would rather deal with, if I'm Golden State, is Houston. We've had success against them if I'm the Golden State Warriors. That's the logic. We've had really good success against them. So I'm more apt to say that I'd rather deal with those guys than have to deal with Joker. I don't want to have to deal with him. And as far as Memphis and the Lakers, I mean, if we can be honest, guys, I don't have the best player in the series. I got the 2 best players in the series. We should win this series. I got the 2 best players in the series. And I got a damn good supporting cast. I got the best player in the series, and I got the second best player in the series. And I got a damn good supporting cast. How far away, in your estimation, is Desmond Bane and Austin Reeves? I don't think it's that far away. To be honest with you, I don't. And I watched Austin Reeves kick Memphis' ass 2 years ago. And I think he's better today than what he was then. Playing with Luka, playing off James, I don't think it's that far off between these two at all. I'm not going to say that Desmond Bane clears him. To be honest with you, if I had to choose between the two, who would I take, Desmond Bane or Austin Reeves? If I took Desmond Bane, it would be because of the defense. That's why I would take Desmond Bane, because he will defend. He doesn't have a long wingspan, but he can knock down the long ball. He can create his own shot. I think Austin Reeves is better at him than that. I think his handle is better. I think his shot creation is better. I think his finishing at the rim is better. I think that Desmond Bane defending, I think that's what pushes him closer. But if I'm thinking about this matchup, I think the Lakers would handle them. 5-6 games, tops. I think they handle them. Yes. I'm not saying I'm gonna take back what I said when I said I think the Lakers smoke them. No, I do think that they handle them though. I will not argue that. I do think that they handle them. And because they handle them, yeah, I think Memphis is out in round 1. I do. So that would leave, if Golden State ended up getting past, if Golden State ended up getting past, if Golden State ended up getting past Houston, which I think that they will, if they ended up getting past, if Golden State ended up getting past Houston as the 6th seed, as the 7th seed, they would probably play the Clippers Oklahoma City winner. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Let me tell you. I think Oklahoma City beats the Warriors. I think that's a 6-7 game dogfight. I do. I think that's one of those Indiana Cavs playoff series in 2018 where James is hugging Oladipo with this look on his face like, man, I'm glad we ain't got to play them dudes no more. Man, I'm glad we ain't got to see them again. Whew. I think that's what kind of series that is. 100% I believe that. Because I think that as good as Oklahoma City's defense is, and as well as they knock teams off balance the way that they do, just as a defense, I think that with having a secondary scorer like Jimmy Butler and him being as good as he is, as a bucket getter, that's why they call him Jimmy Buckets. With him being as good as he is as a bucket getter, I think we would see a different Jimmy Butler in that series. Just off the strength of how the ball moves. Oklahoma City's rotations are, there isn't much that I can say about the Oklahoma City Thunder in terms of a negative with their defense. Their defense is incredible. It is. And that could possibly be, in the Western Conference, the best test for them in terms of ball movement. In terms of ball movement, man, you're talking about rotations and you're talking about getting the spots. It would be incredible. But I'm interested to hear from you guys, though. I am. I got a couple people in the lobby, so I'm interested to hear from you guys and what you think exactly. What up?
What up, OG?
What up?
Hey, I'm sorry, chill. I gotta go a little bit off topic. I come to you just because you're a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to basketball. I'm a Maverick fan here. I got the Nets and Mavericks game in the background. Can you please explain to me why Anthony Davis is suited up playing tonight, please?
Because this narrative on me is nonsense, and I want to play. That's why.
But chill. You 32, 33 years old.
Yep.
My sidekick guy is out for the year.
Yep.
I feel more comfortable playing the 4. We don't have Gafford and Lively playing.
Right.
This is a soft tissue injury. Why
Yep.
am I risking myself to get re-injured again?
Mm-hmm.
And we're 11th in the Western Conference standings right now. I'm putting myself out there to play for a play-in spot.
Yep. Well, number one, I'm under contract. So with me being under contract, I have to play because I'm under contract. And number two, I want to play. I can get injured next year in December with the same soft tissue injury. This isn't an injury that just is automatically going to go away. No, I can get injured doing anything. So if I'm good to go to play, why am I not playing?
So
why am I not playing? If I risk getting injured, I'm gonna get. If I'm thinking about what you're thinking about, then I'm gonna get hurt. If I'm playing like that, if I'm playing not to get hurt, then I'm gonna get hurt.
Yeah, but chill. Like if this was any other player, I feel like okay, I get it. But this is this is Anthony Street Clothes Davis. Like he's had a history of getting injured. I mean, I'm a Maverick fan, right? I'm past the whole Luka thing. Like move on. Maverick fans need to move on. But I'm looking at the future now. We lost Kyrie. Gafford and Lively are hurt. Like we 60% of our roster is depleted. You're putting AD out there to make him overwork because right now these guys are playing heavy minutes. This guy's been out for 19 straight games. We got a back-to-back tomorrow. We got Brooklyn today. We got the Knicks tomorrow. It's just the situation. If we were 7th, 8th in the West, I get it. But can we be a little logical? Like, hey, man, let's hold you back a little bit. Let's see how these next few games go. I get Anthony Davis wants something to prove. He said the first game against Houston, he has something to prove. I get it. But we got to think the future. We got to be – I mean – I don't know if this is a front office trying to put pressure like, hey, man, we need you out there. We got to fill the seats. It don't make sense as a fan. I'm being fully transparent.
Well, what I'm trying to make sense of is why doesn't it make sense? He wants to play. So because he wants to play, it's the same logic that you guys tell me all the time about guys load managing. So when these guys load manage, you're saying that you tell me that these guys are sitting out when they shouldn't be playing, when they should be playing, and you got a problem with it. But now you got a guy who wants to play, and now you got a problem with it. It just sounds like it sounds like it's double talk to me. This is a guy who, before he got to the Lakers, never had the soft tag, was not quote unquote street clothes. Number two, when he got to the Lakers, when y'all won the championship that year, you had 6 weeks between when you won the championship and the season started. The season started again a month and a half later. So there was no real time to recover. He got right back to it. He was still playing the 5, which he didn't want to play, and he got beat up, and he ended up getting hurt. The next year, same thing happened, but he was playing more games. Last year with the Lakers, he played over 90% of the games.
But chill, that's my point. He's going to be playing the 5 now where he's going to get beat up. He's going to be the number one option on offense with no Kyrie. I just feel like this is just leading to something where we're going to overuse him. I don't know if he's on the minute restriction or not. And we really don't have nothing to play for right now. If we were 7-8 seed, I get it. If the team was healthy, cool. If he's coming in to play the 4, not be in the post, having to bang guys, and I mean, we're playing the Knicks tomorrow.
You're going to use him like this anyway, though, B. This is the situation. You're going to, even if he play. So next year, Gafford is healthy, Lively is healthy. You're going to use him like this anyway. You're going to put him at the 4, and you're going to use him. It's not like you're going to have him on a minutes restriction. It's not like he's going to play 32 or 35. No, you're going to play heavy minutes. That's the way that works. So what you want to do, this is what I'm listening to from you. It sounds to me like you want the most out of Anthony Davis in the least amount of time. That's not the way that works. It's not. No, sir. And the fact that he wants to play, I think it's a testament to him because you guys roast these guys for load management, which I'm actually happy that he's doing this because this is going to be a trend for the rest of the players in the league. When they get held out, I'm prepared to play. It's these guys that are holding me out. This isn't a situation where I can't play. No, I can play. These guys are the ones that are holding me out. I think we should see that more.
All right,
100%,
yeah,
I think we should see that.
We're gonna see. I know where to find you. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. What up?
Yo, what up, Chill?
What up?
What up? What up? Yeah, I think you're tripping about Golden State. They not dodging Denver to and then they gonna put themselves in a situation to be in the play-in. That doesn't make sense. They're not that afraid of Denver. If they want the best shot at making the playoffs, they would stay in the 6th seed, no matter who they're playing. And if you're a team that dodges teams, you're not winning the championship anyway because you already got a losing mindset. That is true.
Teams do that all the time.
Okay, chill.
Yeah,
your guy Giannis,
yes,
they tried to dodge the Nets in 22, and they got popped in the second round by the Celtics, who didn't dodge the Nets. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. That's not true.
They did try to dodge the Nets. They didn't want to go through a 7-game series with KD again, and they had a 2 seed and they fell to the 3 seed, so they didn't have to play KD.
Well, that had nothing to do. Okay, first of all, that's not true because the Celtics in 22, I think they had the number 1 seed.
No, Miami had the 1 seed,
and they had right. Miami had the 1 seed in 22, and the
and
Celtics
the Bucks
had the 2 seed.
And the Bucks and Celtics had like
that's
similar records.
That's good. That's correct.
Right.
So, and the Celtics ended up sweeping Brooklyn. Right. They ended up sweeping. Well, you were going to have to see Boston anyway.
But they wasn't dodging Boston. They were dodging the Nets because remember KD took them to 7 the year before when they won the chip.
But they were way different.
Dodge KD.
So why would I not want to see Brooklyn consider? Okay, no James Harden. Kyrie Irving was in and out of the lineup. Why would I not want to see them now?
Because they were afraid they were the KD.
No, they wasn't afraid of KD.
Yes,
no.
they was.
Nope, you're not selling me that one, brother. The reason why you're not selling me that one
is
because
buying that, Chill?
No, absolutely not. Because first of all, with James Harden, Irv was out during those playoffs. He had a bad ankle. That season, Irv was ready, but he was in and out of the lineup. He wasn't Irv. James Harden was already gone. Ben Simmons wasn't even in the lineup. So Milwaukee wasn't looking at Brooklyn like it was the same Brooklyn from the year before. No way. No, they weren't looking at them the same way as they did the year before. Absolutely not. Nope.
Yeah, but I disagree. I definitely think they were dodging. What were you gonna say?
When to your point about the play-in tournament, I do understand your logic about a 1-game play-in. I think we could beat the Clippers in 1 game. Yes, 100%.
So you're willing to risk your playoff hope?
Yes,
to avoid Denver. We
against the Clippers, we can beat them. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But why would Golden State be that afraid of Denver? Denver hasn't shown that they're just this dominant team this year.
Denver hasn't shown that they're a dominant team this year.
No,
they got the best player. They got the best player in the league. Who, by the way, Golden State has struggled against all year long.
Okay, and according to you, they got the defensive player of the year. So why they down?
No, I said he's in the conversation. That's number 1. But last year Minnesota had a defensive player of the year, and Rudy had a terrible time with him. So who would I rather see? I would rather see a less than Sengun than have to see Joker right from the beginning. And I think that I can beat the Clippers with James Harden, with Kawhi Leonard, with that. I think we can beat them in a 1 game. To have to see Houston in round 1, yes, 100% I'd risk that. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I don't see.
Of course, the reason why is because you're thinking about the play-in tournament, where if I lose in the play-in tournament, then I can lose again, and I'm going to end up having to see. If I lose, I'm gonna have to beat either Dallas or Sacramento, and then I get to see Oklahoma City in round 1. Or so which one is it? Do I lose and get the 7 seed and take my chances against the Clippers, or do I keep the 6 seed and I got to go against Joker in round 1, who I already know how you feel about him? But I can tell you right now, the Golden State Warriors feel way different about him than you do. Way different.
like I said, Chill, what team has successfully avoided the team and won a championship?
Which team has successfully avoided a team and won a championship? Let's see. So the Lakers in 2000, they didn't see the Spurs,
And
but
they were aggressively trying to avoid the Spurs.
yes, they did. Well, Tim Duncan got hurt. Yeah, Tim Duncan ended up getting hurt, so they didn't have to see them. Let's see. Teams that have aggressively it's not going to be out in the open.
Because
They're
that's a
not going to.
losing mindset, Chill. You
It's
can't
not.
win like that.
It's not going to be out in the open, but teams duck smoke all the time. I don't understand. Prime example would be last year. Like you're thinking about a team just out in the open going, we don't want anything to do with them. When Minnesota bounced Denver, Dallas was like, whoa, we don't got to see them dudes. They didn't want nothing to do with Denver. Nothing. But Minnesota, we can beat them. Oh, yes, we can beat them. 100% we can beat them. So,
Yeah.
Again, I have to make it clear. Teams don't out in the open duck smoke, but I can tell you right now, they would much rather not deal with this team than deal with that team. And I think the Golden State Warriors, they'll say out in the open, yo, we'll play whomever we want to play, whomever's there. But if I had to choose between having to deal with Joker in round one and having to deal with Sengun and Jalen Green, give me a break. What are we doing? What are we? And if I got to beat the Clippers to get to that, yeah, I could do that. Yes, I'll do it. No doubt. So, all right, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Yep. So, I think I do think that we're in a different space, man, with this Western Conference, and the same thing is going on in the East. So, to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the play-in tournament. I hate the play-in tournament, if I'm being honest with you. We already got a play-in tournament. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. Excuse me. We already got a play-in tournament. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. And with Atlanta having to deal with Orlando in the play-in, and then Atlanta would have to deal with Atlanta would have to deal with Orlando, and Chicago would have to deal with Miami. I think Atlanta beats Orlando. Actually, you know what? I'm on record saying this, and I got to stick with this. I don't think Atlanta's making the playoffs. I don't think. And if they do make the playoffs, because I mean they could lose to the Bulls or Miami, but I'd be really surprised if they lost to Miami. If they had to play Orlando, who am I picking in that one game matchup? Considering I would take Orlando, which means that Atlanta would have to ultimately play the Bulls or the Heat. And here we go again with this bullshit. Right? Here we go again with this nonsense. So Atlanta would end up with the number 8 seed. And with them having the number 8 seed, they got to see Cleveland in round one. No Jalen Johnson. I think that they get handled. I do. I think that they get handled, and I think that they get bounced in round one. No doubt about it. I think they get bounced. So then that leaves the Celtics, right? I think that leaves the Celtics, who, for all intents and purposes, at the number 2 seed, and Cleveland better watch out, because Boston, being 5 games back, they could get back in this thing. So that would mean that Boston would have to see Orlando in round one. They don't score. Orlando doesn't score enough to beat Boston. As tricky as a matchup as that might be, Orlando doesn't score enough to beat Boston. They don't have enough offense to beat Boston. Their defense is good. I think their defense is damn good. But with an intact Boston unit with Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, Al Horford, Hauser, Pritchard, Cada, with this kind of unit, the Orlando Magic they don't have enough firepower offensively in order to beat the Boston Celtics. I think Boston would handle them in 5 games. I don't think that that's a series that would last long. I don't. I would be surprised if that series went past 5 games. I'd be really surprised if that series went past 5 games. So then the Knicks would have to see Detroit, which I thought Detroit was making up some ground. I mean, they're only 2 games behind Indiana in that 4th spot. I think that this is what it's going to look like. They're a game behind Milwaukee in that 5 spot. So essentially what that would be, it would be Detroit. Because all 3 of these teams in the same division, Indiana, Milwaukee, and Detroit, they're all in the same division, which means that all 3 of these teams have seen each other plenty of times. And if Detroit had to play Indiana, I love that matchup. And the reason why I love that matchup is because I feel like Coach Bickerstaff, I feel like he would turn Cade loose. And I think defensively, I think they would be hell for Indiana. But on the flip side to that, I think the same thing for Indiana. I think Neesmith, Matherin, and Nembhard on that perimeter would be a nightmare for Malik Beasley. I do think that. So, what up?
What's up, OG?
What up?
Hey, so I'm more of a college guy, but now that it's kind of first 2 rounds are over, I'm kind of get back into the swing of the NBA things. I just wanted your thoughts on my Bulls. Like, it seems like every year we're in that 9-10 seed playing the Heat or the Hawks, and then we ended up winning that game and then lose the game to get into that 8th seed. So, what do you think we can do with this core? Do you think we keep it or kind of move on from and tank and kind of build from the ground up?
Well, you are building from the ground up. That's why you got Josh Giddey. That's why you got Marcellus.
Yeah. And I like those 2 pieces. I thought Giddey balled really well against the Lakers.
And Kobe White too.
Yeah,
I might be willing to move on from Kobe White. Maybe I can get a bigger guard.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not calling back Zach LaVine, but if I could get a bigger guard, somebody at the 2 spot that may be able to supplement and be able to play really good, a transition guard. Like I'm thinking, like call up the Trailblazers and ask for Sharp.
Oh,
if you called up the Trailblazers and asked for Shaedon Sharp, would they be interested? Because I actually like that backcourt because Josh Giddey as a distributor, I think that they would enhance Shaedon Sharp as an athlete because I think that's how the Trailblazers should be using him. He should be playing more in the open floor.
Yeah, no, I see that. And then I guess since now I'm getting back into the NBA, what is your one team that you think is by far the best? I'm assuming it's Boston, but then after that, what's your one sneaky team in the playoffs that can make some noise? Not win it all, but go a little bit further than expected.
I think Detroit's gonna be a really difficult out.
Yeah.
Really difficult out. I don't think that they're a team that you just walking past. You're not. You're not just walking past them. It's not happening. And I think the Knicks gonna have their hands full with this Detroit team. I think Detroit can get a game, 2 games, and if they could get 2 games, make this a 6-7 game series. I think the Knicks are gonna have their hands full with them dudes. 100% they are gonna have their hands full with those guys. So that's probably them and Indiana are the 2 teams that I'm thinking about who are, in my estimation, one of the 2 teams that I think will make the most noise as an underdog.
Definitely.
All right,
You
brother.
thinking? Oh yeah, I'll leave you. No worries.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you. Those are the 2 teams that I'm thinking about more than anything in terms of the East. In the West, I mean, there's really no sleepers in the West, in my estimation, because I don't think that there's a team in the Western Conference that I'm looking at and I'm going, you know, if Minnesota ended up in the Western Conference Finals, would I be surprised at that? No, I wouldn't. I had Minnesota in the finals, and I had to come off of that earlier in the season because they didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. That's what was going on with Minnesota. But if I saw Minnesota in the West Finals, if I saw the Warriors in the West Finals, would I be like, oh shit, the Golden State Warriors? No, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Considering what Golden State has done, how much better they got with Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't be surprised if they was in the West Finals. No. So I don't think that there's a sleeper team in the Western Conference that I'm thinking. I would be surprised if the Clippers was in the Western Finals. I ain't gonna lie about that. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, I would be surprised if the Clippers ended up in the West Finals. Yes, that would surprise me because I don't think that they're going to go that far. But I'm on the Clippers train. I'm on it. I'm 100% on it. And I got dragged on this train. I tried to get off. Right? I tried to get off this train. I did everything that I could to get off this train. I got dragged right back on. Let's go. And then I pushed the hand away. Get off. Got dragged right back on. Get off. I'm not getting on that train. I got dragged back on that train. So I said this earlier today, and I'm standing on this for all the Clipper fans who have dragged me on this train. When this train crashes and I'm killed, just remember you're the one who killed me because you dragged me on this train. And I did everything. I did everything that I could, kicking and screaming, fighting back to get off this train, and you wouldn't let me off. So when this train crashes and I'm killed, just remember you're the one who dragged me on this train. It's because of you. I just want to make sure that you remember that part right there, because this is your fault. Yep, this is all your fault. I ain't want nothing to do with the Clippers. I was out. I was OUT out on the Clippers. I didn't want nothing to do with this. Nothing. But now, Kawhi Leonard is back and James Harden is at his best. Okay. All right. Just remember that I am telling you that when this happens and I am where I am, just remember this is your fault, Clipper fans. Yeah, because you're the ones who dragged me back on this train, kicking and screaming. And it took like 10 of y'all to drag me on this train. Just remember that. This is all your fault. All your fault. But with the exception of the Clippers, there isn't a team that I'm like I'd be blown away if they was in the West Finals. I mean, Houston is the number 2 seed. Is it ridiculous for me to think that Houston would end up in the West Finals? Is that ridiculous as the number 2 seed? I mean, they might just be a regular season team, and I don't think they get into the West Finals. I don't. But if I think about what if I think about what they've been doing, right? If I think about what they've been doing, am I like, if they ended up in the Western Finals, would I be blown away by that? Wow. It's not the same as if Atlanta ended up in the East Finals or if Detroit ended up in the East Finals. I'd be like, oh shit. You're like, what is Detroit doing in the East Finals? What are they doing here? Would I be blown away if Memphis was in the West Finals? No. I had Memphis as a top 3 seed before the season started. Yeah. I had Memphis as a top 3 seed before the season started. And this is where we are with them now. I think where are they at right now? I think they 2 games. They are, 2.5 games out the 2 spot. That's where they at right now. 2.5 games out the 2 spot. So with this team being where they are right now, I don't think it's ridiculous for me to think that. No, I don't think it's nuts. But with the defensive player of the year, who, I mean, again, I don't think that Draymond is the defensive player of the year, but I do think that he's entered the conversation, just like LeBron James entered the first team All-NBA conversation, just like he entered the league MVP conversation. When he did that off the strength of what was going on as of recent. So, what up?
What it do, Chill?
What up, brother?
Yeah, let me throw this take in there. You can even use it when you be debating on the other show. Think about it like this: when you got a bodybuilder, he's lifting weights. He's already pretty much fatigued out. He's lifted 225 20 times. Mm-hmm. If I come in the gym and I compete against him, like, come on, bro, let me lift against you right now. He's out of gas. And here's how I look at these other teams. When you see a Detroit and you see a Memphis, when you see the Clippers be the favorite in the playoffs, man, I don't think they've made it to the finals in a long time, but everybody hype them up. They got Kawhi, they got Harden and all this. This is why I don't believe in a Cleveland and stuff. They're not smart enough to save what they got in the tank to compete against the teams like a Boston and Denver. They know how to save what they got to compete when they need it. That's why they're not smart enough when it's ready. to compete when you need them on the big stage. Ever heard somebody say they backed into the playoffs? That's why you know what I'm saying. It's hard for a casual person to really understand what that means. Like, oh, they swept them in the regular season. They don't really understand, and you just got to let them go with how they can interpret it. How
Kinda
good they're playing against them now.
Kind of like Phoenix last year, they backed into even though they beat Minnesota 3 times in the regular season, they backed into the playoffs, and Minnesota wiped the floor with them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't understand. Like when you watch Boston, and they'll lose without Holiday or Porzingis. They don't understand how important them guys are. And then when you actually see them together, you be like, man, why such and such ain't getting this shot off? And why this happening is because they don't understand how these guys are glued together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked a lot different when I got my whole crew. It looked
Yeah.
way different when I got my whole crew. When I got like 2 or 3 guys. When I got my whole crew together, now let's hear you yapping. Now let's hear you talking. Now let's see what we got. So I can dig it. 2 cents.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you, brother. You know where to find me at.
I'll see you next time, man. I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. I'm tired of this Taylor Jenkins is holding him back. No, he ain't. No, he isn't. Taylor Jenkins is not holding Memphis back. I can appreciate your logic about them not having the rotation that you would like, but they're one of the best defensive teams in the game. They got rid of they've been riddled with injury, jobbing in and out the lineup. You just lost Brandon Clark. That ain't got nothing to do with with Taylor Jenkins. Nothing to do with him. Nothing. It ain't like he's running him into the ground, because he's not. So no. If you talking about, because it sounded to me like you want to get rid of Taylor Jenkins. If you're getting rid of Taylor Jenkins, who are you replacing him with? That's the $1 million question. I've always felt like you can't leave where you at till you know where you're going. And if you're replacing Taylor Jenkins, you better be replacing him with a better coach. That better happen. Since we on the subject of replacing, it's about that time for me. So somebody's up next. I don't know who. You guys know where to find me at, though. It's my time. I got to bounce. It's good to see you guys. You know where to find me. If I'm not on TikTok, 9 a.m. Monday to Friday, I'm on the panel from 11 to 2. If I'm not on the panel from 11 to 2, I'm on here weeknights on Chilltown Hoops. If I'm not here, I'm on the Players Choice Network, me and my man Ox on Thursday and Saturday, on Chill with Chill on Thursdays at 4 p.m. and on Saturday at 12 p.m. So I am not hard to find, guys. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I just talked to my mother this weekend. I literally just talked to my mother this weekend. I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys. I enjoyed it.